Hey everyone, I'm Greg Buttera from Maker's Mark. I'm going to show you how to make a cocktail that's a variation on one of my favorite classics. So we're going to make what I call the Breezy Boulevardier. It's a variation on a classic drink from the 1920s called the Boulevardier, which uses bourbon, Campari, and sweet vermouth. It in itself is kind of a riff on a Manhattan, but a little bit more bitter, a little more aggressive. Campari has got, for some people, kind of an alienating flavor profile. Its kind of little brother is called Aperol. It's a similar flavor profile, also a bitter orange driven aperitivo from Italy, but a little softer, a little sweeter, more inviting. So we're going to use a bit of Aperol instead of Campari, change the proportions slightly, and we're going to use this cocktail to highlight the new private selection barrel that you can only get at Lakeville. So that's going to be on the shelf shortly, and I'll show you how to mix this up, and hopefully you can do it at home and enjoy one of these sometime soon. So we'll start off with 1.5 ounces of the private selection Maker's Mark barrel. You can use classic Maker's Mark or any other bourbon you prefer. So 1.5 ounces of that. We'll add it to a mixing glass. We're gonna do 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. The brand I'm using is Cocchi di Torino. This is one that has a nice kind of cola spice profile, and it's not overwhelmingly sweet and viscous. So you're able to get a lot of complexity, some different nuances that accentuate qualities of the whiskey without it feeling too, some people aren't big vermouth fans. This one doesn't get in the way as much. Aperol is like I said, an aperitivo. It's got a little bit of a bitterness, but it's a fairly subtle bitterness. The flavor profile is bitter orange peel, rhubarb, and some botanical elements. We're just gonna use 1/2 ounce of that. So in the classic Boulevardier build, you'd use 1 ounce of Campari. We're gonna dial that back slightly, use 1/2 ounce of Aperol. That'll supply a little bit of a bitterness that kind of will replicate almost the effect that you get from the cocktail bitters, your Angostura bitters or whatever, in a Manhattan. So it'll be a really similar kind of flavor organization, really similar balance, but just a little more complexity, a little more interesting. Gonna add some ice to the mixing glass. And I'm just using a teaspoon. I don't have a bar spoon today, but it'll still work. So we're gonna just stir this up. So you want to give this a good amount of time on the ice. When you're preparing a cocktail, one of the important considerations is dilution. So you want to add some water, and you want to bring the temperature of the liquid down overall. So it's a temperature dilution axis point. That just allows all the flavors to kind of come together in the right way. Got a fancy Maker's Mark glass. We dipped it in the Maker's Mark red wax that you might be familiar with. And we've got an ice ball that we're going to pour this on. So get your drink where you want it, temperature and dilution wise, and we'll strain it into a glass. And then to finish it off, I've got a little swath of lemon peel. We're just gonna flick that over the top of the glass, kind of squeeze it and express the aromatic oils. People think that when you put a piece of lemon peel into a cocktail, it's just for the visual effect. And that's important. We drink first with our eyes, but the aromatic lift that you get from expressing citrus peel over the drink is actually pretty important and really brings all the flavors together. So that is the Breezy Boulevardier. Again, it's one of my favorite kind of variations of a really fun old classic drink. So I hope you enjoy that at home. If you can, give it a try with the Lakeville Private Selection Barrel of Makers, and have a great day.